Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we'll talk about how we can integrate our Jenkins pipelines with Slack notifications. We'll use the plugin that's available in Jenkins to get us up and running. So the first thing that we do need to ensure that we have is that we have a Slack workspace that has been configured and a dedicated channel that you would like to receive the notifications to. Once you have that set up, the next thing that you'll need to do is you'll need to head over into your Slack configuration under Settings and click on Manage Apps. From here, we want to search for the Jenkins application and add to Slack. Here we choose a channel that we would like our messages to be posted to, so that's why it's important that we have that channel already created. So here we can go in and click on Operations in my case, and click Add to Jenkins. So here you have a set of instructions that you need to follow. So basically what you need to do is you need to add a plugin in Jenkins, configure that plugin, specify a token, which is a secret that is used to communicate to your specific workspace and post messages. And then we need to set up the actual build pipelines to send those notifications. So the first thing that we want to do after we've integrated the application is head into our Jenkins configuration, click on Manage Jenkins. We want to go to Manage Plugins, and we want to search for a plugin called Slack Notification. So select the Slack Notification plugin, and we can install this one without restart. Once the plugin is installed, we then need to head back into Manage Jenkins, Configure System, and then we want to find the Slack section. And then here is where we need to specify a few parameters. So the first is the workspace. So the workspace is the first part of the URL that you use to sign into your workspace. So in my case, that is dman cloud. And then we need to specify a credential that allows us to talk to the Slack API. So we don't have one created yet, so we can simply click on Add, go into Jenkins, and we want to create a secret text. So you click secret text, and then we head back over into our Slack integration, and then right here it gives us the integration token. So we need to copy this, head back into Jenkins, and paste that for our secret. And then let's give it an ID, so something that's easy to remember when you're going to use this in the future. So let's go ahead and call this one Slack token, and we use the same name for the description. Once you've done that, you simply hit Add. And now it's important to make sure that you also go back in here and select that credential. Here you can select a default channel. So let's go ahead and use the same channel, operations, and then we can test the connection. So we can see that we were successful. And if we actually head into our Slack workspace and look in the operations channel, we can see that that plugin has now been integrated. Okay, so the next thing that we now need to do is let's click Save in our Jenkins, and let's create a quick test pipeline. So for this, we'll use a new pipeline. So let's click on New Item. We'll call this Slack Test. Then we'll use a pipeline project and click on OK. So we're not going to get into the specifics of the pipeline syntax. I have other videos that you can check out if you're interested in learning more about pipeline scripts. But today what we'll do is we'll just use a sample hello world script, and then we'll use some syntax to go ahead and configure the notifications. So let's apply this and save that. So now that we have our basic hello world pipeline created, we can head into pipeline syntax. And then in pipeline syntax under the snippet generator, let's go ahead and look for Slack here. And what we're looking for is Slack message. So we can see here Slack send. And then here we can specify some parameters. So here, let's go for, and if you click the question mark, you can get some additional information. So what we want to do is we want to use the channel name operations in our case. And you can see there's some additional parameters that can be passed. So for example, we can say when the build was started, the build number. So let's actually just copy this entire snippet here. And then we can head back into our pipeline and configure it. So we want to trigger this as a post notification. So after the stages have been completed, we want to add a post section. And we want to run this always. And we use a script. And then within the script, we want to paste that notification. So there are one thing that we need to change here is we need to change this channel name to match the channel name that we want the notifications to be sent to. So here we'll change this to operations, apply, and then save, and then we can now build that pipeline. So we can see that that pipeline is now running, and we can see that we've got a notification in Slack. So if we head into Slack, we can see that the build one started. Now this is a very basic message. You can do lots of different things with the notifications. You can pass the color depending on the status of the pipeline job itself. So you can specify green, yellow, red if it failed. You can specify things like the URIs, the build numbers. So I do have a sample that I've created here earlier. So let me actually copy this little snippet that I've generated prior to this, and let's modify this pipeline. So if we go back into the pipeline and we change this, and then we add the snippet that I just configured. So let's actually go through here and take a look at what we've done. So here we've said we're going to send a Slack message into the channel operations. We're going to give a message of update deployment. This could be any message. We'll send the status. We'll also include the job name, the build number, and the build URI, and then pass it the Jenkins emoji. And then we can also specify the color, but depending on the status of the job. So now this time, let's go ahead and save this and execute this job. Once this finishes, oh, it looks like that we may have some syntax error in here. Oh, okay. So what we actually forgot to do is if we go back in here, I forgot to include the definitions for the colors. So what we actually need to do is first define the status of the colors. So here we can say that depending on the build result, if it's successful, we're going to use the color good. If it's a failure, we're going to use danger, and then warning. So we do need to define these steps as well. So let's go ahead and copy these. Head back into our pipeline. And we need to add these right above the Slack send. So let's go ahead and add those in here, and then we can clean up our formatting. So now if we hit apply and save, let's rerun that build. And then now we can see that we have a little bit more information inside of our message. So again, there's a lot of flexibility. You can look at the environment variables that are available to Jenkins and pass those into the message. You can pass things like the build user. This is just a quick tutorial to get you up and running. You can get creative. If you have any suggestions or if you want to post some examples of some of the Slack integration messages that you guys have created, please go ahead and feel free to share those in the comments so other viewers may be able to benefit from those. Hopefully this was enough to get you up and running to get some notifications into your Slack channel. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you like these types of videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you very much.